Not much. Ready for action. Ready to hear what some folks have to say. How's my sound, by the way? Is it because
It's fine.
I find when I listen to the replays, it's a bit muffly. So I've done some stuff with the case and all sorts of stuff. Is it clearer than it has been?
It's clear.
Okay, that's what I want to hear, because I listen to the replays and it sounds like I'm hiding in a sock or something. So hopefully this is a little bit better. So we'll definitely want to get into what's going on out here in OTC world. I know people got tickers on their mind, so please get your requests in. It's been a nice couple days with some nice moves, and obviously we're feeling the LTNC bump. We're feeling the IGPK bump. I can't believe it.
Thank God.
What is this?
I'm back in the green.
I'm happy for them, but what's going on?
A lot so far. I think they got access to the OTC IQ again, and people saw that, so they got excited. I got 5 stocks I pulled up, one of which I know really well, one everybody in here has talked about, and 3 that I don't have very much familiarity with, so I guess it's 6. The big mover of the day with money and percentage gain was CBDD.
Yeah, I did see that.
They actually had significant money flow through the company today. I was kind of, it caught my attention. I mean, for being a dried up OTC markets at the present moment, CBDD did, where is it? How much did they do today?
73%. I'm just looking at the dollar volume on it. You know,
yeah, $261,000.
Not bad. I mean, I guess with the weed stuff getting picked up a little bit, CBDD is what they chose. I
don't know. I try not to include the stocks that have gains, like they're at 0002 and they moved 1 tick, but they only have $845 flow through them because they don't count. So I'm only bringing up companies that have done like 70,000 in dollar volume for the day or more, and had more than 100 trades. So EARI.
Yeah. So EARI, they had a deal that they were going to do with this organization, New York Seltzer. Those like little flat bottles, New York Seltzer. Yeah, they were going to merge that thing in to EARI, and then they canceled the deal and were just selling nonstop. And then what happened was, the other day they announced that they'd hired an IR firm called Red Nose. And for whatever reason,
Nose, not the red chip.
Red Nose.
Never heard of it.
No, so I don't know if it's a clown thing or an alcohol thing, and I don't want to say, but I don't know why it was so silly.
I gotcha.
But with that being said, obviously some friends and family of the company somewhere saw that Red Nose announcement as being the high sign to maybe start ripping at it. So that's all we got, is that it's the same company. They have a couple of drinks, but they want to do Red Nose. They've got Red Nose working for them, and that was enough, I guess.
Well, they did 133 million shares and traded about $69,000 worth of volume today. So that not bad. They made a 50% move. What about FLES? Not a bad day for them.
Well, we'll get to, because I know Shido has been working on that.
Oh, let me get him up here. Why the hell let me up here anyways?
Shido, where you at, man? He's chomping at the bit.
I bet he is. FLES, man, I can't believe. Yeah, what a good day for them. They did $147,000 in volume for the day. That's 3.6 million shares, trading at almost 4.5 cents. That's for a dried up little market. That's not bad for the day. Shido, what's up?
Hey guys.
Hello,
Yeah,
sir.
hi. Yeah, not much. FLES, very good day. The seller wasn't here today, so it was all clean action. I was surprised that we saw like a really good amount of buying above 4 today. Certainly, we churned some retail guys who got endlessly cheap shares lately. We have to expect that for the next few weeks, I guess. We have to churn some shares here. And then hopefully we can go to the next step.
I
You
got
are
a
in now,
question for
Pat.
you.
Yeah.
So we heard yesterday from Brett on how these venture capitalists work. Do we have this case scenario here? I mean, do they have anyone that's converted or is converting on FLES, or is this, what's the deal?
You mean not the venture capitalists, but you mean the toxic lender. That's what
Yeah.
he explained. Yeah. Yeah, we had actually the situation on FLES a few weeks ago was that they said they want to convert all the big convertible note holders into preferreds or restricted common, and they are working on that. I think they're close to being done on that. And there were 3 small people that didn't want to do a deal, so they started to convert. The first guy first. He had the most, then the second guy, and now it was the third guy. Brett apparently tried to do a deal with some of them. They denied the deal and they started converting. And that was the case. That's why we had all the selling pressure for weeks now, because some of the small guys, that's not a lot of money, it's $40,000, $50,000, but you don't forget they convert at the big discount. So the stock was trading around 3 cents all the time, but they converted for about half or so, So if they convert half, I mean, then it takes a lot of time. If they convert for 1.5 cents, it takes a lot of time until $50,000 is converted, and sold.
Well, and forgive me for I've been in the loop, but just wanted to see. So, and then I saw some talk between Brett and Chris Davenport about paperwork being signed again or something.
Yeah. So the situation now is that out of the 3 guys, the first guy is out for a while now. Then the second guy refused the deal with Brett. He is out as well. Then we thought we are done because Brett was supposed to pay off the third guy. Now then we heard the third guy was converting half and half was paid off by Brett. That's one thing. And the second thing that these guys are talking about now with the signed docs is all the rest of the big convertible holders. They converted like 10 or 12 million of convertible debt into other like restricted stuff. But there is still 3 or 4 million to be done, so that that all the convertibles should be off the books for at least a year. They are all restricted then for at least a year. Some of them for 2 years. And that's the goal. And that's what Brett is talking about. It's 2 different parts. That the small note guys that didn't want to do a deal that converted. We saw that in the last few weeks. That's why all the selling. And then the big
like just get them out of the way, yeah.
Yeah, and then the big stuff. And I hope we get an 8K soon where they announce that all the left convertible left on the books is converted, Because if that's not the case, then you would never be secure from somebody like changing his mind and starting to convert, This can only be a success if they convert all the convertible debt into restricted stuff, and then they have some breathing room for the next year, and then grow the business. That would be the situation and the plan they have.
This is the same case that every single OTC company that's had convertible debt gets into, but I'm really happy to see that Chris Davenport's attacking this and going after it hard, because once that's cleared, it'll give them a lot of breathing room and they'll really be able to focus on what matters. The biggest headache with these convertible debt holders is having the back and forth. I mean, it takes time away from your day to be able to run your business, to be able to handle the regulatory standards of a public company, and it's like babysitting. Yeah, I mean, and if you don't make them happy, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, Chris is really tired about that right now.
Yeah.
He mentioned that, and I can understand that because he wants to run his business, But on the other side, he absolutely knows that there is no way they can move forward in any meaningful way in any capacity if they don't get these convertible note holders to convert to restricted or to preferred, because it's so big, the debt. It was so huge a few weeks ago that it's basically impossible, and it's a big task, and he did really well. I mean, he converted like 12 million already, and I hope we get the 8K that they converted all the rest. And then if the small guys are out, then we have the situation that we're supposed to have for a few weeks now. So that's the thing.
Well, that's exciting to hear. So it looks like the pop today was people finding out that the convertible. Oh, why my mind just blank. The the conversions are done. At least the majority of them, right?
Yeah, the pop was because of the tweet from Chris that they apparently have a deal with everybody else that is left. That's still a few million, It's a lot, and one part, and the other part was that there was no toxic guy on the ask all day long today, not a single minute. And then if you trade clean, then you have retail against retail, and then you can do something if you have some volume.
That's exciting. I know we'll have him back on our space here to discuss how things have transpired after a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait to hear the updates for the company once he's had some breathing room for a quarter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Shido. That was, I mean, and you made a believer out of me. Today made a believer out of me. I've been not hating on it. I mean, obviously I want it to move, but I was kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, and you have been absolutely spot on, because the last few weeks we have been led to believe that there will be deals with the small note guys, which then didn't come. So you have been spot on that the sellings just went on and went on. So I'm not somebody who wants to convince somebody else about something, because I know only action speaks. I mean, they can talk a lot, but action speaks. If we see a filing in a few months where there is no convertible notes left for now, because they all converted into preferred or into restricted common, then we know it wasn't just talk. And the same is with the trading. I mean, if the selling goes on, then something is wrong,
Absolutely. Well, thanks. We got Q.
Yeah, just real quick, Shido. What stock were you talking about?
FLES.
If you don't mind, at the beginning and at the end, always give the ticker, because sometimes people come in or listen towards the end and you don't know what ticker.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't start about FLES. I just chimed in. That's why I didn't call the ticker. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. And I can maybe just periodically remind as well, Q. So I'll make sure to do that.
Yeah, it's a very good point, I think.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Any tickers on your minds? Oh, I'll tell you that today that Neon Bloom NBCO did pretty well. I had been looking for that.
36%.
Yeah, it went and it hit into the threes earlier today. And, I've been looking for a chart break on that for a bit. And, finally, they started getting some action. And now we've got, I think, 10 days until they are set to close this deal to acquire this company, which is pulling 20 million in revenue, which I mean is more than double their current market cap. So I was looking forward to seeing if it would get pumped, not pumped, but get some action or some correction, and it's so far so good, and it didn't lose the resistance. So pretty pleased with it for sure.
Yeah, they did some decent dollar volume too. They did just on $63,000 worth of volume traded through the stock today.
Yeah, it was not bad at all. It was pretty impressive, and we'll see if they can keep bringing the heat. So, yeah, we got a few days to go, 10 days, and broke the resistance, and it came way down on very low volume about a year ago, and now, it's finally broken through all that selling, and there's not a lot of actual volume resistance in that gap back from up to a dime there. So, I'm watching closely for sure.
There's room to breathe then. Good.
Yep.
So, Q, do you have any stocks you want to talk about while you're up here? Share a stock that you think everybody should have on their watch list and a little bit of due diligence about it. Is Q still there?
I think Q left. Get your requests in, though, guys. We got to hear about them because there's some stuff going on. Some good stuff. Nice few days.
Fair enough.
IGPK 55 vet. Maybe you can help me understand, because I saw that, there was some stuff with the profile, but I'm still a little bit like I think for a lot of people, like there's so much noise around it that it's tough to actually cut to the core of what is driving this new volume. Does anyone have any clarity on that?
Yeah, I think, if nobody else says anything,
Go ahead, if you could take a crack at it.
Yeah, no, the excitement obviously is definitely the IQ access that they got, because that's a big step. Apparently, OTC markets is okay with the change of control, like Boozy got a few weeks ago, and they love this. It doesn't. I know your point. It doesn't change the big reverse split cloud. It doesn't change that we haven't really seen what will they really bring into the ticker. But for now, that was a huge relief for them, I guess. There is still the issue with FINRA, because I talked to some people who looked into that FINRA stuff in the past, and if you don't know, IGPK, they filed the Form 15 last year, but they weren't current at that time. So they were missing a K and a Q or something. And if you're missing a K and a Q and you file the Form 15 to deregister from the SEC, then I heard from other examples that FINRA has a problem with that. And if they don't, it is right. And if they don't file these missing filings, then some think they won't process the reverse split, which sounds good to some. But as I pointed out today on Twitter, if they don't, for whatever reason, don't process the reverse split, then they also don't process the name change. And if they don't process the name change, there is no merger, right? So
that's correct.
It sounds better than it is if they don't process the reverse split. So we will see what happens. I have no idea. Do they file these missing filings, or does FINRA still allow it? I have no idea. We need to see, I guess.
Generally, I have not seen FINRA, because this is what happened with GVSI.
Yeah, exactly. That was, I think, the situation. I didn't follow that back then. Yeah,
that's what happened with GVSI, and that's what's happened with a lot of these tickers over the years. And the good news with IGPK is that they don't necessarily they don't have that control dispute that GVSI did, which is nice. But I think if those SEC filings don't hit, it's going to be a harder sell with FINRA for sure. And I feel like there's still a lot of things to be done before we can say that this is a slam dunk. And so if no split happens, you may not get your merger, and if a split happens, well, then you get split on. So I'm struggling with it, but then again, I'm not living in those chats, and maybe there's something I'm missing, which is why I asked.
No, I don't think you're missing anything. I'm struggling as well on the general situation. Obviously, there is still trades to be made. Of course, that's another thing. But I'm struggling as well. I personally don't want to really hold any bigger position overnight in this. but that's just me. I mean, I guess we are conservative guys.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we've seen this a bunch of times over, and I part of me worries that maybe people who were caught off guard by the split announcement are now generating a narrative to save their skin financially. But but with that being said, like I don't know for sure. But I mean, I do have that concern a little bit. I mean, we saw the attempt when it came to the fraudulent filing attempt when they were saying that. I mean, so a lot of things are being said, a lot of shit's hitting the wall, and they're seeing what sticks. And I don't know, but I hope it works out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't want to wake up and see this on the daily list and see this down 50 or 70% again. And we have some good energy now. We have some positive momentum. I don't want to see them getting wrecked again, because I know there is a lot of capital stuck in this one. Not maybe not even stuck, but there is a lot of capital in this one, and I just want for them to work to see it working out, somehow.
I got a pump to bring up.
Agree. Please do.
Now, once I say this ticker, I think you understand why I said it. At least if you're familiar with the company, you will. GTVH.
Yes, I am familiar. This is that stock that's run by this fellow Stefan. And
Stefan Dalsgaard, yeah.
Yeah, Stefan, and he's been involved with this for a while. It made a huge run during COVID.
Oh yeah, that's because he was throwing rave parties all the time and trying to, Anyways, go ahead.
Well, that sounds fantastic. That could be a business.
It is. It's part of his business.
And so now I know that he put out some news today about how he's going to be doing some kind of like weekly CEO chats or something like that. I know that even recently there was kind of a run up that kind of rug pulled everyone on it back in January. But so certainly if he has something to say, I think it would be interesting to hear his commitment to maybe shareholder value, I guess.
I think the biggest run they had was back in COVID era, and it's just been down since then. But he's had a few little pops, and like you were saying, January was the most recent one, an immediate downtrend. Stefan, I worked with him at one point. Did a few things for the company. He's interesting. He's definitely young. I'm wondering when, at some point, he's going to allow somebody else to take the helm and run the company, so it can be viewed as a little bit more, I don't know, professional.
Yeah. I'm supposed to have a call with him this week. I was supposed to have one last week to hear what the deal is. The situation is obviously just public stuff that is known already, but I'm in a little bit in this one right now. One of the points why it has been getting traction is the thing that the CEO of LTNC is the main debt guy in GTVH. I don't know if you guys know that.
Didn't know that.
The Tom Sarro, which is the CEO of LTNC now, has been the main debt guy from GTVH for years now. So he has been financing the company and has been selling a good amount of shares into the market. So that's and since LTNC was running lately, so that's a little bit the reason why it got a little bit traction now as well.
Huh.
Guess we'll see what he brings in his weekly chats. But that performance in January was not ideal.
No, it was not.
Well, we'll see what comes out of Stefan Dalsgaard. I hope he continues to press after. Originally, there was 3 different companies underneath the GTVH brand, and all were generating revenue and doing well. One was like a marijuana company, then there was the raves, and then there was one other thing. And he's pretty good at pivoting, so I'll give him that. He's good at pivoting. I'd like to see what comes out of this play here, because they were up, but 45% today, did decent dollar volume, and they're trading in triple 08.
Yeah, really good volume today. Second or highest or second highest volume day ever.
160 million shares traded today.
Yeah, second highest. Yeah.
It's interesting because, in January, it pulled, there was a day where it did, listen to this, it did
233 million shares.
Well, but here's even better for you. There was a day, January 22nd, where it did dub 1 to dub 18 on only 26 million shares. So that's a pretty good move. And then today, for some reason, 160 million shares only gave it trip 4 to trip 8.
So there's been some dilution since then.
Yeah, there's been constant dilution, a little bit here, a little bit there, and obviously the lower the stock goes, the bigger the dilution gets. Obviously, they don't add like 20 million like he did for some time, or 30 million, then they add suddenly 80 million. Yeah, you know how it is. I mean, with toxic debt.
Yeah, the more the more shares are available for the company, the slower the stock's going to move.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, anyways, that's the scoop. We'll see. Anyone get their requests? And I got to hear about some tickers. I'm dying, baby.
I do want to talk about MAPT. They did 44% move today, and they're at 0036.
Yeah, I know that there were some emails a while back being passed around with regard to them canceling their reverse split, and that was cool. And that was actually kind of exciting that they didn't intend to go forward with their reverse split. But then they put out a bunch of filings where they were doing offerings. I mean, at how low were they taking those offerings here? Let's see. They were offering as low as, I don't want to get it wrong. I'll pull it up. As low as trip 1.
Really?
So yeah. So, I don't.
For having authorized shares at 10 billion, they have less than 1 billion outstanding. I mean, they have 792 million shares outstanding and only 703 million in the float. So, I mean, it's not a completely bloated pig at the present moment.
Yes, correct.
So, I mean, if there is some...
So the 1A that came out March 28th shows 3.3 billion price to public at trip 1. And then the qualifying document after the 1A came out 3 days ago. So
has that offering closed?
I don't know. It's just qualifying document right now. So
I might be willing to buy some at trip 1.
It's been qualified. Yeah, it's been qualified by the SEC, and the last amendment on it was trip 1 price to public. But then in another spot it says price per security trip 5 on the document. So one way or another, there may not be too much meat on the bone. I mean, sometimes when you see these, like that, they might get one big pump out of it because people don't know to check. But it's worth at least keeping an eye on the fact that that's hanging out there. Everyone, I mean, I'm very happy that the people on IGPK are getting to recoup, or even if they reloaded it for a bounce. But I hope it all works out. You know what I mean? I have a lot of concerns, and I know that that's not cool right now, but I got them. So
Yeah. Another thing that helps liquidity right now is CYBL. CYBL is going up.
Yes, that's great, isn't it?
That would be unbelievable if they really, because I think they showed in the filing today that they apparently want to apply now officially for the removal of the CE. If that would happen, that would be unbelievable. I think there is so much capital in this one for a long time now, so that would be really good for us.
Yeah, that would be huge, because I mean, CBDL in terms of lock liquidity is equivalent to LTNC in terms of how many bags are locked into it, and not quite close to ILS, but certainly a good chunk of that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if that were to come back to life with a caveat emptor off, man, we'd have a whole bunch of money floating around again.
It would be good, yeah. I have another one, Pat, because nobody else is talking. What do you think about the XSNX? I mean, I know you know the ticker. We played it before. It's trying to bottom here, and obviously the big question is, will they get that big financing?
XSNS.
XSNX.
Yeah, exactly. Great structure. Had some interesting buying lately. Trying to build a bottom here. But the thing is, will they get the financing? I mean,
yeah, they're waiting on that financing, which they say would come through at what, like 0.1 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
0.1, yeah, not 0.1, 0.1, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they say it's going to come through at 0.1.
Yeah.
And they're working on it, but then at the same time they've defaulted on another node, so that they're in this time crunch where like they're in default, and which means it could release an avalanche of dumping, but then also are close to securing this financing. And I can't call it. I mean, I think you probably need to set a break above on your chart alert for it, just in case they start ripping at it, because like if they secure that financing, it'll be freaking instant.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's it's an outcome like, I don't know how you call this, either like really low if they default on some stuff, or if they get the financing, then it's going to be an absolute face ripper from here.
Yeah, it sure will. So
yeah.
I guess we'll see what they do, but that is a very interesting story. And if that unfolded, holy crapola.
Yeah, that would be good.
I did have somebody text in a request to find out info on RONN.
Yes, RONN Motors.
Yeah.
So that
it looks like it's trying to bottom too.
Sure is.
Oh my God, these guys!
I can't believe it hit trips already.
Unbelievable how I've rarely seen someone dumping like this in a few weeks. It was really gross. Yeah, the way they did it was gross. I mean, from like basically having no volume for forever, and suddenly they just unloaded.
So are we going to see a dead cat bounce here?
Well, you wonder, because it's showing 178 million unrestricted April 1st, and then how much have they sold over the last 3 days? You can use your daily volume bars to show how much they've sold over the last 3 days. So they've only sold, like, the volume's only been about 60-70 million over the last 3 days.
It started back on like 319. They had a big sell day.
That was the selling volume. And then so their share structure update was April 1st, showing 178 million. And then April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, total volume between those 3 days was about 70 million. So if it was 100% dilution, then you'd be looking at 240 million unrestricted, or held at DTC. But if it wasn't 100% dilution, then you've got 3 green candles on that chart. And, it could be a real ripperoni of a bounce for sure. I mean, you got to watch it.
Absolutely. After such a move down, a bounce wouldn't surprise me if they just let it. They usually let it breathe at some point, like for a few days at least. I mean, the seller should be interested in letting it breathe, right?
Yeah, I
you
mean,
would think so.
Trip 9, with a good shot of volume, I'd be watching it pretty closely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
What, twice back in the beginning, like in December, beginning of January, it was up to 3 or 4 cents. I mean, so that's a huge move between the two if you're paying attention.
Yeah, I've been trading it here and there. While when they started selling, they did it like in blocks, like you had 1 or 2 days where they really dumped into some bits, but they let it breathe big time the next few days. So I tried to trade it. I had some good trades on it, but at some point, it's getting harder and harder. If the selling gets more and more, then the bounces are less and less until a certain point, and hopefully we are at that point now.
Yeah, we'll see.
So Cameron, that's your info. Cameron, that's your info on RONN. It definitely has shell risk to it as well. But there's a chance you can see a good bounce out of this. I wouldn't try to pull the trigger on buying the stock until you see it turn around, honestly.
Yeah, Trip 9
That's just my opinion.
on heavy volume, and even then, there will be a trade there, but I'm not necessarily sure if it would be a long hold.
I'd play the short bounce.
Yeah, there could be.
I wouldn't long hold this at all. Anytime there's a shell risk on something, if they don't have new things going into the company, or like all of a sudden the website pops up and you're getting information like there's going to be a new reverse merger, or don't hold the stock because there's too many other things you could be doing with the money during the time frame. You'll get yourself caught on a bag, holding the bag of something that everybody else is trying to get out of.
For sure. Yeah, it would be a nice trade, but maybe not a long-termer.
This DKSC was nice, Pat, huh?
Yeah, you know what? That's that change of control on trips, and it's not a terrible setup by any means. And, we don't know what the business is going to be yet. But, they said they're going to announce pretty soon what the next business is going to be. And, you got to keep an eye on it. It opened hot and kind of came back down. But, who knows what he'll announce? I'm kind of in the camp where if you got a good entry on it, you may as well wait and find out what he announces, because it could be, what, chicken feet?
Yeah.
Imagine if it was chicken feet. Oh shit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No, it was a really nice quick double from last spaces, which is great. Within a few days. And now we will see. It didn't hold the highs today, but who knows what we get next.
Absolutely. A good first move, and if this guy can keep the irons hot, then and kind of strike iron when the volume's there with his business plan, it could really level up.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
For sure. But we have
Ultimate source of living. What is up? Do you have a stock to talk about?
All right. How you doing, sir?
Great. How you doing?
How's it going?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. You guys started your talk with UBQU.
Yes, sir.
Can we get a take on that? Being that it's a sub penny stock. And what are your outlook and for the stock itself? What do you see coming? Do you think you have any possibility of progressing in the next year or what?
I think it's really nice to hear about this business that's coming in, and I found that guy to be genuine, and I'm genuinely interested in what they're doing with the business. Um, I think a lot of OTC retail traders are surely going to be looking for an update on what they're going to be doing with the capital structure. I think
Yeah.
that's the big thing. People will need to hear what their plan is for the share structure um, as a next step. I mean, what do you think there, Josh?
I kind of concur. I talked to the CEO about that in our call before the space today, and obviously he's got a company that's making money. They're generating money. They're expanding. They have the facilities for the manufacturing and distribution of their products, and they're hitting the street running with with marketing to not only retail but to increase their involvement with the carriers that you go through insurance. And now that they've stepped into UBQU, the next logical thing is to look at the capital structure, like Pat's saying, or OTC Method's saying. And I brought it up to him, and honestly, nobody wants to hear reverse split generally, but when you have a new vehicle to you, and you're taking the reins of somebody else's mess, and you see that they've extended you out to 24 billion shares in the float, something egregious, and there's no bid support, it would take a lot to begin to move the stock. So there has to be addressed in some way. Either they begin to use money that they're bringing in on the revenue side to start purchasing back their own stock, or they do a reverse split, or they're going to have to address that in some way. So I do look forward to having the guy back on. I think he's going to have a lot of things that now that he's in there, he's going to have to do to position this well for the shareholders. And I believe he's the type of guy to make it. From my conversation with him, he really is a business-minded, straightforward, honest guy. So I'm hopefully he'll have a chance to address all that stuff here near term.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd certainly be keen to wait and see what he has to say on that.
Is there a reason why they, if I'm not mistaken, and I haven't followed the story and the stock, but they reverse merged into this ticker like not long ago, right?
Yeah.
Why? What is the reason to merge into such a ticker and not take one of the endlessly good amount of good shells out there that we have right now? Is there another reason? I mean, I didn't understand what he replied to that. Why he?
I'm not privy to that conversation. I didn't ask him that question, so I can't speak on behalf of the company. I know that his answer for it was it provided them a better outlet with a technology company to get in front of more investors, retail people. I mean, the original Ubiquitech Software Corp was an affiliate marketing company into television, radio, and internet content, SEO, and traditional marketing strategies to drive traffic and sales to the subsidiaries in the company. So there may be some in-house software or things set up that they can utilize as a public company to increase revenue and stuff like that to what they're doing. So that marriage makes sense if things came with the shell. Now, if the shell was completely empty, it doesn't make sense for them to have gone in this vehicle. But
exactly.
From my understanding, there's a really good chance that what he saw in this is exactly what Ubiquitech did, being able to fit with what they're doing.
Yeah, must be like something like this because everything else makes no sense. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Farouk, go ahead.
Yes, hello.
Hello, sir. We can hear
All
you
right.
fine.
I want to talk about not about stock. Like I have for me, for example, it's LTNC, but it's not. I don't want to talk about that stock specifically. I want to talk about like I just want to learn about something. So
Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
about 3 years ago, I bought a good bit of shares, and I don't know much about stocks when I bought it. To be honest, I just read the DD. I don't know much about the flow, the volume, and all that. And so like I guess it just woke up and it turned pink current. And for three
Yeah.
years, people been begging for like we need pink current, we need pink current. Okay, it happened. I had to look a good 200% day, and after that, I'm just curious, like, were people expecting it to be pink current and boost to 2,000%, or is it like a over time pink current is gonna help it?
I think, over time it could absolutely help it. Obviously, what you have is, first and foremost, you have a lot of people that have been holding it for three
Yeah, yeah,
years who are just happy to have their freaking money
yeah,
back. You know what I mean? Like, and so you have to get through those people, which can take a while before you get to the next point, which is to see if people start taking it to the next level in terms of their belief in the company and its value. You know what I
right,
mean? And that longer term build is going to come from whether or not they're able to generate significant revenue, and a bunch of different things. So that's the longer play. If you are up, like, I don't know what your average is, but if you are up 200%, it might be worth getting half of your position out, so you at least can leave that money on the house,
right,
see where it goes, and then also have money to either do more trading or to manage your lifestyle. You know what I mean? But the only way you could see if it's going to become something big long term is to have some in it. But if you're big green on it, a couple 100% green, well,
Take profits.
get the house money. At least get the house money in.
right.
It's a great strategy, by the way, to protect your account so that you can continue to grow. Um, that's huge. I mean, that's really the name of the game here. If you love the company, you drank the Kool-Aid, you think it's going to be something huge, pull your initial investment back out and ride with some free shares because you'll never go wrong with that.
All right. Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I just wanted to get your guys' aspects because, yeah, that's about it. I appreciate it.
That's cool, man. Hey, thanks for asking. Anytime you
Yeah.
have a question, DM us or come on the show. It's every Tuesday and Thursday at 4:30 Eastern, man. We'd love to talk to you and happy to answer any questions you have, man. I see you texting about TXTM. Can't believe you got in that, but I'm very familiar with that stock back in the day.
Yeah,
Farouk, you still
yeah.
there?
You're talking to me about TXTM?
Yeah, I'm fully aware. Yeah, I know everything about TXTM, which has now changed. But
Wait, did I send you a message about that?
no, I'm looking on your account, man. I look in your back in.
Yeah, yeah. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah, you bought that
I,
stock?
yeah, I did. No, I stopped like the last
Okay.
time I stopped posting was about 3 years ago, as you could tell, right? That's because that
Yeah.
day LTNC dropped so much. I got off stocks for 3 years. Then out of nowhere, I see on Twitter, like I'm like it just
It's
yeah,
alive.
yeah.
Yeah, I
But
get
I'm
it,
not.
man.
I'm still.
Hey, no,
I'll be honest.
I worked with
Right.
LTNC when they first came public. In fact, the ex-CEO was Ryan Shadle. He was on our space on Tuesday, and he S1'd that company. He didn't reverse merge into a shell. He didn't take some dirty vehicle. He actually did the long form and S1'd LTNC, but he didn't understand about toxic debt. So he ended up in a death spiral, and that's what happened to LTNC or Labor
Yeah.
Smart. So I'm really happy to see it come back to life. It's current. The company that's in it not is generating revenue, has some huge names behind it, and I really think that you're going to see more than 0083 come out of this. but it's not going to happen right
Right.
away because it still has the issue of the stock structure, which is what we were talking about before. I mean, they've got 25 billion shares authorized. Good thing is they only have 7 billion in the float. So, I mean, that's promising, but that means they still have some debt to deal with. And as long as they're paying that debt off, you won't see any conversions or diluted any further. But right now, it's just going to be a slow climb. It would be my statement.
And I don't want to hold you guys up anytime, but again, I bought it 3 years ago. I went to so high limits. I got so greedy when it hit that 8 cent mark. It went 200%. I'm still not selling because I'll be honest. I could wait another 3 more years. So I think I'm gonna just keep holding it because I do like the company. It just I
What
also
is
don't
your
like the
average?
fact
What
that
is your average on it?
honestly, I have no idea. I don't know how to use Charles Schwab. Like I had TD Ameritrade. I can't tell what's going on in this new app, Charles Schwab. So
Well, how much did you put in it
It's the
originally?
same.
originally I put 6,500. I have
65. What's it worth now?
let me see. Let me see. I believe 65. I have 500. I
There's
have
no way.
no. I have 550,000 shares. So
Okay, hold on. Let me do the math
I
for you.
think no.
We'll tell you your average right now.
Here. I can
Now,
tell
if
you.
you
Yes, ma'am.
You're down a couple grand right now.
Yeah, a couple grand. Yeah.
Yeah. So your average is probably like 0.011 something.
Just about like that. Yeah.
so you got it
Maybe.
back in 2021.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm see. Be 32.97. Here, let me mute myself for 1 second, if you don't mind.
It's glad to see people in there that still hold. I mean, honestly, the truth is you don't lose any money until you sell. So if you have patience enough to wait for something to come back, God bless you, because sometimes that's what it takes with these low price stocks. You'll have to hold on to it for a few years, and all of a sudden something crazy is happening, and you're happy you didn't sell while you were down.
Yeah. Hello. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, we're
No,
here.
I'm just like I don't want to. I know there's other people on the call also, but like when I got in, like I was 19 years old, and like I have 550,000 shares. The peak, my account balance was at 45,000, and that was 19. I was shocked, like, and I didn't sell, cause, like, but the only beauty thing about it is I learned so much, not just about stocks in general, just life. Like I learned a good bit, but like,
Well, the strategy is now, if you did learn, if it doubles from here, get half out and put that money towards something useful.
right,
And from every stock you ever buy from now on, if you buy it and it doubles, get your house money back and see how far the rest takes you. And don't listen to these greedy bums.
right,
You know
because
what I mean?
the only
Because
thing about
that's what they do. You get in these echo chambers and these
They're
cults.
using you for an exit strategy.
yes,
Yep.
that's what I was about to say. The only thing I don't like about LTNC is not about LTNC. It just there is a cult following. It gets too much. Like they overdo it sometimes. But yeah,
Kind of like AMC or GME. There's
yeah,
a few stocks out there that have this massive cult following. Or Mullen. I can't stand Mullen, but MULN has this massive group of people that are stuck in it, and they're so far underwater. They're just really dramatic with everything.
All right, well, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna still be listening, but I gotta get back to work. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for popping on.
Anytime. Yes, sir.
That was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, how are we feeling? The place is emptying out.
Let's do this, man.
All right.
Guys, we're going to have a really exciting space come Tuesday. I'm going to announce it right now. It has not been posted or tweeted about. So the people that are left in this room or that listen to the recording are the only ones that find out about this. And this stock has a really nice stock structure and the ability to move greatly. Now, we're going to find out why on Tuesday, but you can write this ticker symbol down, add it to your watch list. It's MDCE. MDCE. We're going to have the company on OTC Stock Talk on Tuesday at 4:30 Eastern. You definitely don't want to miss the conversation because I think a lot of people are going to enjoy what happens. But I'll leave that to everybody else to make up their mind about as intelligent investors. Guys, thanks for joining us. We've had a great night, great conversation with Ubiquitech's new vehicle or engine. And we talked about a few stocks just to ring a few bells. IGPK, CBDD with a good day. FLES, which everybody's paying attention to now that it's breathing and moving. NBCO. We talked about, what else did we talk about, Pat?
We talked about it all.
Got it. You heard it here first and last. We're closing out for the night. You guys have a great day, great weekend. We'll see you next week on Tuesday at 4:30 Eastern.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Bye, guys.